Alright, here's my recording, basically, of the cycle of life from Sonic Frontiers from 2017 to 2022. And I'll be talking about the drought season. Yes, the drought season. Let's talk about this very quickly, okay? The drought season of Sonic the Hedgehog really began after Forces. Sonic Forces was really a giant letdown, alright? I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Once November of 2017 rolled around, obviously, Sonic was already up against stiff competition already, with Zelda Breath of the Wild already having a head start, and of course Mario Odyssey releasing, what, 2 weeks prior to that? Okay, that's understandable, but the game was very disappointing. It had so much ambition. I'm going to be using that word a lot, ambition, okay? So did Sonic 06, so did every other Sonic game that had promise to it, and at the end of the day, we were left with a bad product, okay? Now, for Sonic Forces, on the other hand, the story was promising at best. It was decent. We had a new villain introduced. Now, Infinite, I would have preferred if Infinite was introduced similar to how it was in the comics. But no, we just got a lazy, boring intro. The rest is history. Okay? Sonic Forces, on the other hand, the game was too short. It felt rushed. I understand the Hedgehog engine took 3 years to develop, and Sega were just forced to rush out the game. You know, it is what it is. You get what you pay for, basically. And once again, Sega refuses to delay games. I don't know why. It's like they have a damn disease of not listening to advice, like delay the damn games. But oh well, it is what it is. Now, after Sonic Forces mediocre success at best, yes, because apparently people like mediocrity when it comes to Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh, you're okay with Sonic getting a review of a 6 out of a possible 10. You don't want 8s or 9s or be popular. You're fine with mediocrity. That's what really bothers me a lot about the fandom, honestly. They're okay with this crap. Meanwhile, everybody else wants something different and unique. And every year we keep hoping, are we ever going to get that Sonic game? Most of the people already given up already. You know, when it comes to Sonic the Hedgehog. After Forces' failure, what did you really have realistically? Now let's talk about the drought. I understand I go on tangents here a lot, but I speak from the heart, alright? I don't do scripts, alright? I speak from the damn heart. Now, the drought really started in 2018. There was really nothing going for Sonic at that time. I mean, aside from their crappy mobile games, what did you realistically have? Sonic Forces Speed Battle was decent. For the first, 4 or 5 months, it was solvent. It was great at first, and then they started with the bullshit, basically. They started with the nerfs, unnecessary nerfs to certain characters, and then Metal Sonic got a huge buff. The Steel ability being overpowered, and the rest is history. That could be its own video in its own outright, but I'm just talking about the drought. Sonic Forces Speed Battle was the only thing keeping Sega at least relevant for the most part, as there was no other games at that time. I'm assuming they were just already planning for what would be Frontiers at the time, or maybe some other Sonic game before they decided to make a change. But other than that, that's when the drought really started, from 2018, 2019. I'm going to say 2019, you saw Sonic at his worst. I'm not kidding you. You can check out my rant videos at JDFrank20. You check out all the rant videos I made from 2019. You can see that Sonic the Hedgehog was at his worst. And I am not lying when I say all that back then. You know, I didn't have a massive following back then, but all these rant videos gave me an identity, it gave me personality. And now when I make reaction videos, I tell the damn truth here. I am not like these others. Alright, I'm not gonna bullshit anybody and sugarcoat a damn review. If I'm gonna give you an honest opinion, it's gonna come from me. And then after that, in 2019, realistically, that's when you started to get certain leaks for the next upcoming Sonic game. From Sonic Rift to Sonic Forces 2, Generations 2.0, everybody was just throwing everything out there. Sonic Rift seemed the most believable. It was later debunked, thank goodness. But then, of course, there was one person who actually did mention that the upcoming 3D Sonic game would open up with a panoramic view of the overworld, which would later become Starfall Islands, or Kronos Islands, whichever you prefer. So that part of the story was correct from this one person. I made a video on that on my YouTube channel. So, Frontiers looks very promising, but in my honest opinion, the Sonic Drought did not end until the first Sonic Central event in 2021. When you saw that first Sonic Central event, everybody was hyped up. You couldn't imagine how excited everybody was for this event. I myself was excited deep down, but I urged everybody to go in with low expectations. At least then, if they mess up, at least you won't be that heartbroken. We've been through this heartache so many times with previous Sega iterations. So let's see how the Sonic Central event went. Obviously, the orchestra symphony was fantastic. Don't get me wrong, you can never do wrong with Sonic music, but we're talking about the games here, and we got a glimpse of basically, well, after the success of Sonic the Hedgehog the movie in 2020, and with the sequel coming out in 2022, the first Sonic Central event is where we got a glimpse of the future for Sonic, and it shows that he's a brand. With the second movie already coming out, you saw Sonic Origins being announced, even though we didn't get much of anything, just, no gameplay or nothing. It was just a small tease trailer, like, oh, you get all these classic games before, the controversy, which I'll bring up at a later point. Then, of course, you had Sonic Frontiers. Now, I believe in this event you did have a tease of Frontiers, or at least, oh, no, I apologize. For Sonic Frontiers, you actually had that one 15-second trailer of Sonic basically running through Starfall Islands, doing his infinite loop ability. Well, at the time, we didn't knew that was his new ability. He was basically doing a side loop with the logo. And that's about it you got. And then you got merchandise deals, a new series coming out. I think Sonic Prime was announced at this time. I'm not sure. Look, the point is, by the time it was May, I believe, May of 2021, that is the first time we saw a glimpse of hope for Sonic the Hedgehog. And that is when the drought, in my honest opinion, officially ended. Because after that, what has been happening ever since? 2022 rolls around, and oh my goodness, 2022 has been successful for Sonic. With the success of the movie doing great, and obviously the third movie coming out in 2024, and of course Sonic Prime obviously being announced, and then of course you still got the Knuckles spin-off series coming out in 2023, and then of course Sonic Origins. It did great numbers, don't get me wrong. I understand there was controversies behind it, Sega delisting the previous versions of the games to be forced to buy Origins, but at the end of the day, it's how the games hold up in value, and the games did great. Everybody bought it, so everybody deal with it, okay? I understand, some of these decisions were not well liked, but it had to be done. And then, of course, you had Sonic Frontiers. Sonic Frontiers by far needed the most hype and needed the most, exposure when this it was announced. After we got the first review at the Game Awards in December of 2021, we haven't heard anything from Frontiers until the IGN video in late May of 2022. Now, I understand everybody, including myself, we went in with high expectations for this trailer. And of course, the game looked promising at first, but then you can see the graphics were a little bit washed down. The gameplay looked a little bit sluggish at times, not fully fluid, but of course, they later admit that was an early alpha build. So it's understandable, and then many just wrote off the game like, this game is going to do bad. Look at this, it's not even ready yet. And at the time, everybody, including myself, were urging Sega to at least delay the game because the game looked unfinished. It looked unpolished. And then you fast forward to where we're at right now. After seeing what happened at Gamescom, what happened at Tokyo Game Show, you get more in-depth in the story. The gameplay looks, phenomenal. And then it's going to release November 8th of this year. And then you realize, okay, now we want the game like right now. If the game looks great, after you're seeing basically new gameplay footage, new story elements, game's running fine, but I understand, it's better just to wait. So that's what I have to say basically about the Sonic Drought. In my honest opinion, the Sonic Drought ended on May of 2021 when you got that first Sonic Central event. It was so much hype behind that event. It gave basically everyone hope for Sonic. In my honest opinion, after Forces, Sonic was in a worse place than Banjo was, believe it or not. He was in purgatory. Aside from the mobile games, what was Sonic really being advertised in? Nothing. He was basically just a forgotten person, a forgotten IP at one point. Let's be honest, he felt like Casper the Friendly Ghost. After Forces its, mediocre success, and the mobile games, being mobile games. Again, mobile games can only do so much to keep interest. What did you realistically have? Nobody had hope for the new game, which would later become Sonic Frontiers. Nobody had any hope for Sonic as a whole, as an IP. No one cared at that time. From 2018 to 2019, Sonic was at his worst. I am not kidding you about that. And in 2020, when you had the movie being announced, the first movie, everybody was skeptical and excited at first. Oh yeah, and then we saw that first terrible CGI model of Sonic. And then, of course, Paramount made the right decision delaying the movie, giving us the more popular model of Sonic, thank goodness for that. And now look at the franchise, how it's doing right now. It's so mega popular right now that many people question them, are they insane for going head-to-head for Avatar on 2024? No, because Sonic is an iconic brand. People are going to watch that movie no matter what. They'll probably watch both, but let's be honest, they're going in for Sonic. So that's my take right there. Again, Sonic the Hedgehog right now has never been this white hot. Even during the Genesis era, the Genesis era, I've never seen him this popular. Right now, you walk around anywhere, you know, basically people are talking about Sonic the Hedgehog. I mean, look at me. I basically just gave my neighbor's kids 2 of my lanyards because I had Sonic the Hedgehog on them. You know, they basically said, oh, I know who this character is, and I just, you know, out of the kindness of my heart, I gave them the lanyards. I have a couple more. Don't sweat about it, but at the end of the day, they know who the character is. That's how popular and beloved he is. So every time I keep saying, oh, Sonic is a brand, he is a brand, because you can put him on anything. You put him on movies, he's proven that. The only department Sonic was really not doing well was the gaming department. Everything else he's doing great. Oh, TV shows, Sonic Prime, you know, Boom and X. Of course the TV show's gonna do great because you have good quality writers writing the shows and episodes and great marketing, merchandise. I mean, Sonic Frontiers, I mean, look at the merchandise. I mean, look at this. They can make a boatload of money just in the merchandise in Sonic Frontiers alone. A plushie line of the Cuckoos. Everybody wants to get the Cuckoo that Amy Rose has. You don't think those Cuckoos would sell out in pre-orders in minutes? I know they will. You know, a Sage plushie, you know, this and that. I mean, there's so much money to be made here. Sega has so much content carrying them for the next couple of years. It's only gonna get better. You know? That's why, like right now, 2022 is Sonic's redemption year. It's his year, I'm not kidding you. So that's what I have to say basically about the drought. I know I stretched this video out a little bit longer, but when you speak from the heart and you have no script, you're just more passionate. That's why. So in my honest opinion, Sonic the Hedgehog is gonna thrive, and I can't wait to see more what Sega has in store. Alright, I gotta go. Peace out.